Welcome and thanks for joining us at Funeral Innovations, Trends, Tips, and Technology. In these videos, we chat with industry leaders and discuss marketing trends, technology, innovation, and just talk general digital marketing. I'm Heather Musieski. I am the marketing director here at Funeral Innovations.
And I'm Joey. I'm the marketing and design coordinator at Funeral Innovations.
And today we're happy to have on Joe Walsh from 5280 Cremations. Hi, Joe.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
We're good. Thanks so much for being here today. Why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and about your business?
Well, where to begin? I've been in the funeral industry since 1992, when I graduated from the Cincinnati College of Mortuary Science. I've worked in the Denver area since 1994, and we've been running 5280 cremation funeral service since April of 2011. So, Jesus, I guess it's been about 10 years now. Holy Moses. More about me, I don't know. I've just always been into the funeral service. I'm a first generation funeral director. Nobody else in my family has ever done anything of in this profession, but I love it. I enjoy it. There's nothing better than being able to help somebody in their time of need, and I find that very, very rewarding.
And I know you had mentioned previously how you selected to be a funeral director. Can you talk just a little bit about that?
Boy, you really want to go back deep, don't you? Years and years and years ago, before I was a funeral director, I wanted to. I used to do. Let's see here. I'm trying to think. It's been so long ago. Cool. I used to do upholstery, and one day I kind of woke up and said, "This isn't for me anymore. I don't want to do this the rest of my life." And I was back before the internet. That shows you how old I am. But we actually had to go to the libraries, and I always thought that it'd be cool to be a medical examiner, a coroner kind of person. And so I started doing some research on that and decided that was 13 to 15 years of schooling, if at the minimum. And I said, that's not going to work for me. And literally, I turned the page and it said mortuary science. I said, hey, that looks interesting. And it's a lot of the same things, but totally different in the aspect of once the medical examiner is done, that's when we take over to help the families. The medical examiner helps families in determining what caused the individual to die, and then we help them afterwards and hopefully giving them a very peaceful image and a peaceful reminder of their loved one after their death. And that's very caring, and that's something that I've been pretty interested in, and I feel after almost 30 years I'm still learning, but I think I might have
it. That's awesome. So do you think you could talk a little bit about who your ideal clients are and how you try to reach them?
Using the 5280 cremations, using Funeral Innovation and our Facebook that you guys do for us is absolutely wonderful. It's one of the greatest things I think I've done. As a matter of fact, I've pulled back pretty much all other marketing. I do some special and localized marketing in my area, but I do most all my marketing now digitally. Facebook or what's the other one? Twitter. That's the one. I don't tweet. Forgive me. What the heck is it? Hang on. You're gonna be having fun editing this. Instagram. That's the one. Yeah, it shows you how much I know about the social medias. Oh, they're like my vein. Oh my goodness. But that's just because I'm old. But I do believe that partnering up with Funeral Innovations was one of the best things I ever did, with them not only running my digital marketing but my website. I've got many, many compliments on my website, as well as I feel that the future is in digital marketing. I don't know how it's going to change from Facebook and Instagram and this, but it will. Because you hear about Alexa and Google, all these different methods that are coming up, and I have faith that I'll be in the loop with you guys with Funeral Innovations.
So since you mentioned your website, Joe, one of the things that you do is you include all your pricing on your website for your different packages. Will you talk a little bit about why you do that and how that's worked for you?
Well, I do that. Why I do that is simple. We're very proud of our prices. They're very affordable. This industry in particular can get very expensive if you want it to be, and we're not here for that. We're here for the affordability to provide what people want at an affordable price. Give them good value for their dollar. After this, the lockdown with the COVID and things like this. I don't know if you guys have been able to get out or anything, but you notice all the prices have really gone up exponentially. If you run to go get a hamburger or even at the grocery store, all the prices have just gone up tremendously. We haven't raised our prices. We've adjusted some of the outside prices that we can't contain, like the post office. They've raised their prices for mail things, and unfortunately, we have to cover our bases on that. But you know, our customer is somebody that sees value, and they see caring, and they see professional, and that's what we're after. We want the people that see the value, and that really care about their loved ones.
So you talked a little bit about your services but so you offer direct cremation and memorial services. And do you think you could talk about how your services break down between those two?
Well, you bet. A direct cremation, it's a lot of people are choosing that now for any various of reasons. One of the reasons that I've come across quite often is uh, people's churches that they attend, they have funeral coordinators on staff there. And that's done a lot to eliminate the need of a funeral director at the church. They do a lot of the stuff we would do, direct the family where to sit, do all the stuff that we would be doing at their church. And so therefore they don't need to pay us to be there and do that when the church already has people for that. And a lot of folks don't do churches, or they don't have their own church, so they still want to have a memorial for their loved ones. So we have our chapel that we can use, and we can provide the same services that anybody else can. And the other aspect with the direct cremation, and I've had a lot of folks that don't belong to any church, or they don't claim to, let's put it that way, and they just don't feel the need to spend all the money to memorialize, which I feel they're missing out on a great deal, because we need to memorialize our loved ones. Because what happens when you come to their birthday or an anniversary or a very important date, and all you can do is think about them, and you're always thinking about them. It just becomes um, a lot more important on special days and anniversaries. And if you have a place to go, a lot of people will feel the connection a lot better if they're at that special place. Now, that doesn't have to be in a cemetery or anything like that. Everybody's so different. But if you don't have a place to memorialize your loved one, I really feel you're missing out on something. And that is very, very important, because if our society never memorializes anybody else again, I hesitate to think what we'll look like.
So you encourage people to participate in a memorialization, but recognize that some people have a place to do it already, or that sometimes people just can't do it. But you recognize it as and encourage people to do it because it really helps them through that grieving process.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Very much so. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, the 5 steps of grieving and 5 stages of grieving. It doesn't specifically state memorialization, but part of it is that you have to remember the loved one, and you have to go through all the rest of them: anger, denial, and acceptance. And part of the acceptance is when you have a place to go, because you're accepting that they have passed. And it can also just be as simple as an herb at home, because that's recognizing your spouse or grandma or mom or dad or whoever it is. And that can be, the memorialization that an individual needs. I'm not here to tell them they're wrong, but I do definitely try to help them understand the importance of memorialization. But I'm not here to tell them what to do.
Yep, that makes sense to me. You've also, I know that you've done outreach to hospice. Can you talk a little bit about the kind of hospice outreach you've done and why?
Why? Well, well, that's self-explanatory. Why on hospice? No, I'm just teasing. We reach out to hospice in every way that we can. One of the things that Funeral Innovations does is with me, we send out, every quarter, um, different things to hospice nurses and things like that, so that we can be in touch with them. And if their name is drawn, they win a little prize, a little coffee cup or this or that, gift card, Starbucks or something like that. Those little things mean a lot to the hospice people, because a lot of the hospice personnel, they don't get to see a lot of good in their life because they go into their job every day and it's dealing with death, much like us. But they see people really at a difficult time as well as we do, and unfortunately I don't feel that they have enough simple joys in life. Just getting a little Starbucks card, and after work or on a Saturday you can get up and go get a Starbucks and just relax and take a step back. I think that's important for all of us. How we reach out to them and why we reach out to them, that's very important. But it's also very tough because of the very tough life that excuse me, hospice nurses have. There's a very high turnover rate. We are in contact with hospital chaplains. We find that they stay around longer with the hospice and they help us more as well. If you can talk to hospice chaplains and get in with them, and sometimes you got to take them to lunch, more gift cards or this or that. We found that it can pay off very well. Much like ministers, used to be 30 years ago or better, their husband or wife died, the first call was to the minister. They say, well, you need to use XYZ because that's who, does the funerals in our church. By God, they called XYZ and that was that. That's no longer the case. As social media, the regular media, now the minister is almost one of the last people to be called many times. Or if they are the first, they don't feel comfortable saying, call this person. All the hospices and all the hospitals around here, when a death occurs, they give a list of all the funeral homes, and they cannot recommend. They're not supposed to. Let me put it that way. They're not supposed to recommend one funeral home over another funeral home. And why is that? Well, bribery is possible, and nobody wants that because that's not a good business model. However, get on their good sides. So.
Gotcha.
Well, so I loved, hold on one second, Joey. I loved what you said. When you contact them, you're not focusing on promoting yourself. You're focused on appreciating them and growing a relationship.
Right. Yeah. Yes, and growing yes. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much so. I'm not out there, hey, every call you send me, you get $200 or $600 or, $50. No. That's wrong. I mean, morally, ethically, legally, every way you can imagine it. However, if you go out and, you're able to give them, $5, $10 coffee cards, $20 or something like that, so that they can just relax and step away from their stressful life, I think that's very beneficial. And it's not, if they use you, great. But you know what? You're there to help them as well as the families we serve.
Right.
Because everybody needs to kind of step away and just get away, if you will. Mm-hmm. You can't always leave town to get away.
Especially right now.
That's right.
It's getting better,
so
but yeah.
Right. So obviously you talk about building those connections and clearly with the pandemic, building connections with your community has changed. Can you talk about what other changes you've seen since the pandemic started and what have you done to respond?
One of the biggest changes is here in our state, our governor has limited all services to 50 people, no more than 50. And that's actually gone up. It used to be 10. And we're hoping for it to go up more, but hasn't yet. So one of the things that's happened with us is we've had people that are putting off the service because they want to be there to hold and to hug their loved ones, and their family and their friends. And, we've had, there are options, you can Facebook Live things, you can stream it over the internet. And I've had a number of families say, I don't want that because it's not personal. And I think the good and the bad of, a lot of Zoom meetings and things like this, yes, you can get business done, but it's very impersonal compared to sitting down at a table and talking to everybody, and just chatting, talking, being yourself. Because when you're on when I'm on a Zoom meeting, boy, best behavior, sit up straight, because that's what, and you are that way at work too, but, at the office, but yet you're comfortable. It's a comfort level. So we've had to put off services until the state allows us to open up enough that our families feel they're ready to have that service. And we keep in contact with them pretty regular. And I'm not going to tell them, well, you better do it or you may never, because I have no idea. And what have we done to change our methods? We have on our website, we have the direct cremation arranger, where the families can go right onto the website and complete everything for the direct cremation. We send them a sign now document for the authorizations and this and that. And that, believe it or not, has been one of our best things that we've done. And I've had a lot of people, especially in the height of the COVID, about 2.5 months ago, I'm afraid to go out. I don't want to go out. Well, hop on our website and you can do everything, and people have loved it. So I'd love to tell you that was special for COVID, but it's not. But it's one of the best things. And that's one of the things that attracted me to Funeral Innovations.
That's awesome. All right.
So we have this one final question that we ask everyone. And that is, what's the biggest lesson you've learned while working in the funeral profession?
I think the biggest lesson I've learned is how death creates stress and how stress creates anger, and how to kind of handle and merge stress, anger, and death together, and to deal with that with folks. Some people handle death better than others. Some people don't handle death well at all. And we, as a funeral director and in the funeral industry, we have to figure this out real quick and figure out a way to take care of them, a way to make sure that their needs are being met. And even though everybody is different, we still have the same end goal. And the way that we achieve that is different by everyone. It's not one simple cookie cutter method. And I think that's the biggest lesson I learned. When I was in college, they talked about all this stuff, but boy, until you're out in it and you're, as they say, up to your eyeballs, you and it takes time. It takes time to learn this. And, you start to understand people a little bit better. And that's something that is very, very important, as I feel, because if you can't help the folks, why are you here? Why are you doing this? And that's, to me, the most important part of the job. Anybody can fill out papers. I can hire anybody and have them, write what's your name and, fill out all the documents. But that's not a funeral director. That's basically data input or data something. You're getting in, you're spinning it back, and that's not what we're about. We're here to, yes, we have to get this information, but we have to also help the family get through this very, very difficult time. I don't know if I answered your question or not.
No, I think you did. I think what I heard you say is that people are coming to you in one of the most trying times of their life. And you, as a funeral director, have learned how to meet them where they are and respond to them in a way that helps them, no matter what their emotional state, angry, sad, fearful, any of those.
I truly hope so. Yes, I truly believe that I Like I said, I've been doing this almost 30 years, and I kind of use that as a kind of an opening, quip. I'm still learning. I've almost got it, but you learn every day. Yeah, 30
Right.
years. How much has changed in the industry? Some people are going to say nothing, and other people are going to say everything, and they're both true. The funeral itself, with caring for the deceased, and that process hasn't changed much over the last 150 years. Some of the techniques have, but ultimately, cremation has changed it dramatically. However, the end goal is to help the family, and that hasn't changed since day one.
Nice. Yeah, that's very well said. So that was our last question. Thank you so much, Joe, for your time. We really appreciate it. And thanks so much for joining us this week on Funeral Innovations, Trends, Tips, and Technology. We'll be posting this video on our blog, our YouTube channel, and you'll be able to access it on our Facebook feed. And we'll be back with another show soon, so make sure to check back in next week. If you have any topics you'd like to see discussed, or someone you'd like to hear from in an interview, make sure to comment that down below. And be sure to visit our website at funeralinnovations.com. All right. Thank you so much.